So, right now, right where I am, I acknowledge that there is one power, one source that is creating all there is. It is a substance I call God, the beloved, Spirit, and it is always giving and creating. And it is creating from itself, from its own substance. And that action of becoming, of changing, of transforming, I call love. Because it is always giving, it is always supporting everything that it creates. It is the most powerful energy there is. For that is the nature of spirit. And because that is all there is, I know that it is creating me, that my body is its body. And because it's its body, it is always energized, always becoming, always transforming, always whole and complete. For it is taking its message, its word, its power from this one source. And I know that because it is true for me, it is true for all, for everything is made of it, this God substance. It is vibrating at a level of wholeness and perfection to remake itself, realigning in every storm and every change. It comes to that place of perfection again and again and again, no matter how different it may look. It is always held in that grace of wholeness, always supported in this power of love. And so I know that because love is the action that is happening in every moment, through me, in me, for me, everywhere, that I can have peace, that I can know safety and support. For it is always giving, opening the way for me and for all, for it is opening it to itself. And so there is nothing I need to do or to become, to be held by it, to be cared with it. For it is right here, right now, always present. And so I'm so grateful for that, knowing that that love is coming through everyone, through me, through Reverend Carrie, through Brent and Heather in the inspirational music. For it is that vibration of love. It is flowing through all, to all, from all, in this one big love. And I'm so grateful for how that feels and what it creates. And so I simply claim this as this blessing today, knowing it is the truth of all days. And I simply release this into that aspect of spirit that has it done right now. And so it is.
One of the things about lifting love up is to allow ourselves to love ourselves first. We've heard that, yes? It's important for us to love ourselves. and to even look in the mirror in the morning and look at your face and look at your eyes and say, I love you. It feels weird, I know. But it really works. It kind of brings you up. Oh, yeah, I am loved. Yes. And when we love ourselves first, this allows us to be even more, oh, I don't know, even more joyful, happy, inspired. We do kind things because we are loving ourselves and doing kind things for our body. I hope we are, anyway. So we have a teaching in our philosophy that says that heaven isn't a place. It is our, our own personal universe. We walk around in our own personal universe. We have thoughts and we bring in, with our thoughts, we bring in activities and things that we desire and kindnesses. And if we are loving ourselves first, then we can bring in that love because no matter how much we send out love, it always comes back to us. Do you believe that? Yes, of course. Now, I have a story about a woman who is loving herself first. And I want you to know that this story doesn't really follow the whole idea of heaven not being a place, but I'm going to tell you anyway because it's pretty good. So, a woman arrived at the gates of heaven. And while she was waiting for St. Peter to greet her, she peeked through the gates and she could see a beautiful banquet table all set up, and there were people around the table, people she knew, her parents and loved ones that had passed on before her. And they all saw her and waved and said, "How are you? And we're so glad to see you." If I could speak. And St. Peter came by. The woman said to him, "This is such a wonderful place. How do I get in there?" And he said, "You only have to spell one word." And she said, "What's the word?" And he said, "Love." And so she went, Love. The gates opened and in she went. Now, one day, St. Peter had something else he needed to take care of, and he asked this woman to watch the gates of heaven for him. And she happily did that because she knew she would be meeting wonderful people as they came to the gates. And she was into her job there, doing pretty well, guarding the gates of heaven, when her husband appeared. And she said, "Oh my gosh, I'm surprised to see you. How have you been?" And he said, "Well, I've been doing pretty good since you died. You remember that beautiful young nurse who was taking care of you? Well, she and I got married. And soon after that, I won the lottery. And then we began traveling. Oh, and I sold that little house we were living in, and I bought a great big mansion. And as we were traveling, well, even today we were in Cancun, and I went water skiing, and I fell and hit my head, and here I am." And she said, "Oh, okay." And then he said, "Now, how do I get in there?" And she said, "Well, you have to spell one word." And he said, "Oh, okay. What word would that be?" And she said, "Triskaidekaphobia." And then she said, "Bye-bye." She was taking care of herself. A minister named Daryl Jones wrote a book called Soul Gym, a manual to connect mind, body, and spirit for soulful living. He says that love is omnidirectional and it radiates in all directions, ever present and infinite. And it's flowing through every moment, every space, every life. It's not confined by circumstances. Rather, it's the essence that moves through every experience. Love moves through every experience. When we love others and when we extend that love out to others, we're not engaging in separate acts of love. Think about that for a minute. We're not engaging in separate acts of love. Instead, we are participating in a unified field of love that knows no boundaries. It's infinite. Every expression of love, whether directed inwardly or outwardly, becomes part of this vast interconnected flow. Every expression of love. So, how can we express love? Now, just think about this for a minute because I'm going to let you just call out what you could do to express love to yourself and to others. What could you do? I'm sorry? Kindness. Yes, ma'am. Listen. Yeah. Laughter. Yes. Yeah. Those are all ways to express love. And when we get into kindness, what we're doing is really expressing that love, aren't we? I heard a story the other day of a young man who was um, he was having a little difficulty with a project that he was doing, and the guy next door, likely, came over and said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Well, I'm trying to put this together, but I just don't quite know how." And the gentleman said, "Well, why don't I help you?" And he ended up helping him, and he had a completed project. These are the kinds of things we do. And if we do them, even spur of the moment, that's when it's most fun. Down in Southern California, where I hail from, I was walking up to the grocery store one day and I saw a man sitting on the sidewalk there, strategic location between the grocery store and Starbucks. And it was so cold that day. And I walked up to him and I said, "Can I get you a coffee or something?" And he said, "I would really love to have some hot chocolate." I said, "You got it. I'll be right back." So I wanted something from Starbucks myself, so I went in there and ordered him his hot chocolate and a breakfast sandwich, and I got my order as well. And I decided to slip a $5 bill in the bag because I just felt so good about helping him. And I took it back to him, and he looked in the bag and he said, "You have just made my day." And I'm telling you what, that caused me to have a higher level of love for him, for myself, and happiness. I was overflowing with happiness the rest of the day. That's what it is about love ascending, which is our title today. Love being higher, a higher love. Where am I? When we love other people, even if we don't know who they are, what we're doing is bringing joy and happiness to them, to us, and to the world because we are participating in that infinite love that knows no boundaries. We can offer kind and loving affirmations to ourselves and to people that we don't like. Darn it. Once in a while, there's someone in our life that we don't particularly care for. But we need to allow ourselves to offer an affirmation of love and kindness. Something like, I send you love, and I know that you're healed, or whatever. And I've done this. I did this with my first ex-husband. By golly, it works. All I had to do, just he was just kind of a bugger to live with. And and I decided that I was going to look past what he was doing and allow myself to send him love. So every time he turned his back to me, which was often, I would look at the back of his head, right there, where it's like the brain stems, right about there. And I would look at that and I would send him an affirmation of love. You are a loving being. I know that you are loved and you are love. We are all love. And we can affirm that for other people. And the reason I know that we are all love is that we were made from love. We're here because of love. So all we need to remember is that we are love, each one of us. And we can give that gift to another person. We can say, yes, you are love. Even though sometimes I don't agree with what you're doing, you are love. Now, my sister, a wonderful being who's in the third balcony today, she gave me a wonderful lesson during the time of Osama bin Laden. Remember all that stuff? And she, she and I were just talking about it, and she said, you know, what I've decided to do is that when I think of him, I send him love. I said, really? How's that going? She said, well, it's going well for me because it makes me feel better if I send him love. She kept doing that, and I joined her as much as I could. And I also began doing it for other people that I didn't agree with. And that helped me kind of move through some of the things that we're going through now in our country. I'm sending them love. It feels counterintuitive. We just want to go sometimes to those people that we don't agree with. Yes? Anyone? Okay. Well, the thing is, we need to send them love and know that they are created from love as well. So that love is the presence of the infinite within us, within them. Does that make sense? Yeah, of course. Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of religious science, tells us when we love humanity, we are loving the infinite presence in and through others. When we love humanity, not just our own church, not just this state, but humanity as a whole. Wow. Now, there's also, I alluded to the fact that we have a way to create happiness within ourselves is to extend kindness and love to other people. And that's great, but I want you to know that happiness is a practice. It's not about saying, oh boy, when I finish this diet and I'm down to my ideal weight, I'm going to be so happy. Has that? None of you have probably ever said anything like that, but I certainly have. And what's really interesting is that we can be happy now and every moment in this now moment. Happiness is a practice. So it's important, like when we're feeling maybe sad, maybe we've got a little bit of depression going on, or maybe someone hurt our feelings. What we can do is do something for us that will make us happy. What could make you happy? Let's talk about that for a second. What would make you happy to do for yourself? Communicate better. Yes. Oh, yes. Go for a walk in nature. Yeah. There's so many things that we can do to make ourselves happy and get ourselves up out of that dark place and up into that higher love. And we can also do an affirmation, of course. I am happy, loving, and kind to myself. Let's say that. I am happy, loving, and kind to myself. Yes. Now you can also say, I'm happy, loving, and kind to someone in your life. I'm happy, loving, and kind to my partner, to my husband, to my sister, to my son, whatever it is. We can do that affirmation and really mean it, because that will help us more than anything. It will help us move out of the darkness of thinking negative thoughts. And boy, those negative thoughts can really bring us down. So when we're doing these kinds of things, we're putting love into action. When we love humanity with our thoughts and our actions, we are participating in that love and that energy throughout the universe. This week, I'm going to invite you to pray like the Buddhists pray. In Buddhism, they might say, may I be happy, loving, and kind. And then they say, may you be happy, loving, and kind. May they be happy, loving, and kind. May we be happy, loving, and kind. Would you like to say that with me? Let's start with I. May I be happy, loving, and kind. May you be happy, loving, and kind. May they be happy, loving, and kind. May we be happy, loving, and kind. Doesn't that feel good? Ooh. Doing a prayer like that will elevate our love to that higher level, to ascend and transcend all that is before us. It will bring us into a light that we are. What we want to do is to bring our light into the world and shine it brightly, because our light is a healing light. I believe that. Do you? We are a healing light. And this week, oh, didn't know I wrote that. Okay. This week, we have some action steps. The first one is to remember that you are love. So let's say together, remember I am love. All right? Remember I am love. Now, I'd like you to turn to someone nearby and say, you are love. You are. Now, if you want to, you can turn to someone else and say, I am love. They told me so. Yes. And our next action step will be to dispel any darkness in the world by sending love outward through our thoughts and words and actions. This is really important right now in our country and around the world, to send love out. There's a wonderful Karen Drucker song that says, I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. That, that kind of love will help heal our planet. I truly, deeply believe that. And so instead of maybe getting engrossed in the news, maybe just allow yourself to turn that off one day and just think about how you can dispel darkness by sending love outward. Does that sound like a plan? All right. And our last step is to shine our light into the world as we express a higher love. So, interestingly enough, our affirmation for today is I am loving, kind, and happy, and I share love and light with all humanity. So let's say the first part. I am loving, kind, and happy, and I share my love and light with all humanity. All together. I am loving, kind, and happy, and I share my love and light with all humanity. Blessings.